How's everyone doing? Today I have a Blu-ray collection update with 7 pickups. And if you've seen any of these, definitely let me know what you think of them and let me know which one of these is your favorite. Leave me those comments down below. And I've got 2 4K titles and 1 DVD. So let's go ahead and get into it. First up is an awesome one. It is Cloverfield. This is the 15th anniversary limited edition Steelbook right here, which I did an unboxing review already for that. That's the video previous to this. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and do so. It's the video right before this. And I love this movie. I've got the standard 4K with the slipcover. And I also have this German Steelbook, which I was able to get signed up right there by TJ Miller, who plays the character of HUD, who's essentially the main character. You don't see him except for very briefly. He's the one that you hear throughout. He's shooting the video all throughout. So you hear him talking and stuff like that. I feel like people know him most for Silicon Valley and Deadpool. He's hilarious. I got to see him perform his stand-up live at my local comedy club, and it was the wildest stand-up performance I've ever seen. I feel like he was off the rails and doing rails and then wasted, and then it was a wild, crazy time. But thankful to get to meet him, take a picture with him, and really cool that he signed this Steelbook for it too, for Cloverfield, the German Blu-Ray Steelbook. You see that right there. But again, I'm a fan of this movie. Let me know what your favorite found footage movie is, your favorite creature feature, giant monster movie. For movies that I really love, I'll collect multiple editions of. So I'm happy to have all, and then I have again the third one, the 4K standard. So yeah, I dig this one. I never really liked, there was another Steelbook where it was mangled. I never really liked that design. I understand it works for the film, but I just didn't like the way that it looked. But this is a beautiful one. I like the camera lens right there for the camcorder. And then, you've got that, and it reveals different artwork underneath. And then on the back, it's just clear. But it's a continuation shot right there. Really nice. And you get the Cloverfield monster. Very cool. And like I said before, companies like Mill Creek and Mondo have been doing these slipcover steelbooks for a while. But I feel like once Lionsgate started doing it, they were just killing it. Because I feel like it's practical and aesthetically appealing. It protects the steelbook, and then, it reveals different artwork underneath. But Lionsgate, their line has been, for a couple of years now, just been so amazing with their steelbooks. And it's cool to see other companies and studios releasing steelbooks like that too. Now, Paramount, their Event Horizon one was really nice. This one is really nice. So I dig the heck out of it. It's just a repackaged set. It's the same 4K and Blu-ray disc from the previous standalone 4K release, just to celebrate this and commemorate the 15th anniversary. And I'm a fan of this design. I think it looks awesome. So definitely happy to add it to the collection. And this is directed by Matt Reeves, who directed the recent Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. I really enjoyed that one. Paul Dano was awesome as the Riddler. But he also directed War and Dawn of Planet of the Apes, and Let Me In, which is a remake of Let the Right One In, which is a good movie, but an unnecessary film, the American remake. The original is just a transcendent horror movie. But I do like the remake. It wasn't needed. The same thing with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I know a lot, especially I feel like English-speaking people, American and British people prefer the Fincher remake. But to me, it was a big downgrade over the original, in my opinion. It doesn't hold a candle. But I digress. This one is awesome. And, sometimes some of the remakes can be a good movie, but just unnecessary and still pales in comparison to the original. I'm actually Let the Right One In, Let Me In. I keep Let Me In because I do like it, but it just makes me want to see the original. So I definitely love that Paramount is releasing these steelbooks more. I hope they release more like them in the future. And I really love the Paramount Presents line too. So can't wait to see what Paramount does in the future, catalog title-wise, Paramount Presents-wise, Steelbook-wise. Give me more. You're doing a great job. Next up is Black Adam, and this is directed by Jean-Colette Serra, who directed some great horror movies that I love. The Shallows with Blake Lively, which is probably my second favorite shark attack movie. Jaws #1, and then The Shallows. Deep Blue Sea is up there too. But The Shadows, I feel like gets a lot of criticism, but I think it's just a beautifully shot film. Blake Lively is stunning. And it's a great character-driven shark attack movie. And he also directed Orphan, which I really enjoyed the heck out of that one. And then I recently watched Orphan First Kill, which he didn't direct that. I feel like they just waited too long to make that sequel. And the lead actress, it's not believable that she's supposed to be this younger character, in my opinion. Even though she's not that old, but still. It was an okay sequel. I like what they tried to do with the twist, but it just didn't really work overall. Falls a bit flat, but the original I think is super awesome. And John Collet-Serra's also worked with The Rock before, here in Black Adam, but also in Jungle Cruise. And he's also worked with Liam Neeson a bunch too in a few different action movies, I think 3. Run All Night, Nonstop, and Unknown. So I feel like he likes to work with some of the same actors over and over. A lot of directors do that. They feel like maybe it brings the best out of the the script, and then also maybe they can bring the best out of their performances too. But this one got a lot of criticism, but I actually enjoyed it. And I watched this with my girl, and she really enjoyed it. She enjoyed it a lot more than I did. I think the visuals are great. I like The Rock in the role. I think it's a shame now with DC. I like James Gunn a lot, but that they're going to change a lot in that universe and recast and not do certain projects, because I know The Rock wanted to do a sequel for this, and that sounds like that's not going to happen now, which is unfortunate. And I do like The Rock a lot. Let me know what your favorite movie from The Rock is. One that I think is underrated is Faster, which I think is a really good action movie, modern action movie. It's probably one of my favorites. And The Rundown is a really fun one too, with Sean William Scott and Christopher Walken. Enjoy the heck out of that one. It's just a great mixture of the action and comedy. And that's one of the things that I like about The Rock. I feel like he can do action comedy roles and even some dramatic. And I'd love to see him do something in the horror realm. I feel like he's diverse, and he was passionate about this project. I definitely think this movie was better than the reviews were. I still think it could have been better overall as a movie, but still an enjoyable comic book action movie. Great visuals here. After nearly 5,000 years, he was buried here by the Egyptian gods and imprisoned, and then he was awoken, and he comes out and sees the world is so different, and he's doling out his brand of justice. And speaking of, the Justice Society comes and tries to essentially, put an end to him and stop him because he's doing some things and taking, lives into his own hands. And, some of the things that are happening in that region, this, group of people are, destroying the land, hurting people. And he sees that and he says, I'm not going to have that. So by any means necessary. And you get a bunch of other really cool characters you see in here. There's a couple little, after credit scenes, so stay tuned for that too. I would have loved to have seen that one after credit scene a little bit more for that. But some interesting characters in here. Hawkman was always one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid. You got Dr. Fate, Adam Crusher, some interesting characters. I can't remember her name right now. And then you get some special features on there. I think this looked really good and sounded great too. Nice release from Warner Brothers. And John Collet-Serra also directed the House of Wax remake with Paris Hilton, which is technically a remake of a remake. It's not technically, it is. But people don't seem to realize there was a mystery of the Wax Museum way back in the day. And then with Glenda Farrell, which I really love. And a lot of people thought Glenda Farrell's character was annoying, but I thought she was amazing and made the movie. And I thought that movie was really creepy too, especially for its time. And then the Vincent Price one is a remake too. I remember posting a comment in a Facebook group, and they're asking what's your favorite horror sequel, and they said don't put any trolling ones or anything like that. And I said the House of Wax with Vincent Price, and they said, oh, I told you no trolling ones, blah blah blah. I was like, you're an idiot. But I specifically said the Vincent Price one, not the Paris Hilton one, which is what they were probably thinking. But the Paris Hilton one gets a bad rap. It was awesome. I actually recently picked it up and rewatched it. And I remember watching it when it first came out and thinking, oh, it was a fun, cheese-tastic horror movie. But it's not really cheesy. It's friggin' awesome. Great effects, especially the house itself. Some really cool creative kills, especially the Paris Hilton kill. And it was great. I feel like it gets a bad rap. So John Collet-Serra has done some really great films, and I'd love to see him do more horror as well. I really enjoyed all the horror that he's done, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. But let me know what you think of Black Adam. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Was it just middling for you? Let me know what your favorite DC superhero movie is. And let me know who your favorite DC comic book character is. I feel like there's some really popular ones, Superman and Batman would be, the two biggest out there. But let me know some ones outside of those ones in particular. Some ones that you think are underrated too, and ones that you'd love to see get a movie. And next up is Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts. This is very formulaic, but it's satisfying, and the shooting locations are beautiful. It's about a divorced couple right there, and their daughter decides to get married. She was going to go to law school, and she, before she does that, she goes with her friend to Bali, and she falls in love and decides to get married pretty quickly. And so they go there to kind of try to break up the marriage. And again, you could see how this is going to play out a mile away. But again, I think it's gratifying how it ends, and it's just such a beautifully shot film. All the establishing shots and shooting locations, incredible. I remember looking up, was it all shot in Bali? There was a lot shot in Australia as well. But Bali, Australia, beautiful. And it was a fun time. It was better than I expected it to be. I went in with low expectations because watching the trailer, it's going to be a very, formulaic rom-com, stuff that we've seen before, but I think it works here. And I think really the leads here, Julia Roberts and George Clooney, work well together. Let me know what your favorite Julia Roberts movie is and your favorite George Clooney movie. For me, my top 3 George Clooney movies would be Up in the Air from Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. Love that film so much. Three Kings from David O. Russell. Great cast there. And then I would say Oh Brother, Where Art Thou from the Coen brothers. But he's been in a bunch of great films. And I thought this was just a fun time. And her daughter is played by Caitlin Dever, who I remember she was in Short Term 12 briefly, which is a film that I think is super underrated. But Booksmart, she was great in that one. She was in Dear Evan Hansen, which I didn't really like the movie, but I thought she was good in the role. I think she's a talented young actress, so I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in the future too. But I enjoy this one much more than I thought I would. I'm not a big rom-com fan or romance fan. So give me some good, rom-com and romance movie suggestions and recommendations. But this was a good one. I would say it's worth at least a one-time watch. And again, such beautiful, I want to visit Bali now. And I've always wanted to visit Australia. I've always been fascinated by the outback. But just so lush, so beautiful. The jungle, the ocean, just everything about it. And I enjoy this. Really had a good family dynamic too, and importance there. And there were some entertaining moments, some good laughs, some good heart there. So of course it starts out how they're at each other's throats. They can't stand each other. They were divorced, but they also talk about their shared memories together and what happened, and with all of that drama. But they're going back and forth and sniping at each other throughout the whole movie. But you can kind of see some of the rekindling starting to happen. And again, very predictable in that regard, even from the trailers. How this movie's going to play out. But it works. It's a formula that works here. Not all the time. Sometimes it's a bit too trite, but there are a lot of cliches here, but also a very fun time. The going back and forth, some of the things that happen, some good laughs here. And this is, I believe, the 6th time that George Clooney and Julia Roberts have worked together on a movie. They did Ocean's 11, 12, 13, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and then Money Monster, and then this one right here. And I think they work well together. They have good chemistry, and that definitely shows on screen here. And again, this was enjoyable. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. So again, I think a lot of it just very simple aspects of, the leads here being great, the shooting location, the script is, again, something simplistic but works. It's got heart. The supporting cast works too. And then the family aspect especially too, from the daughter's, fiance, his family. I really like that aspect too. And just the idea of living on Bali and just, secluded, farming seaweed and stuff like that. It just seems kind of great. And I think this was a nice release from Universal right here. You've got some good bonus features. So I definitely appreciate that. And never before seen bonus content, behind the scenes footage, and capturing the return of the dynamic duo to screen. And this is directed by Ol Parker, who directed the Mamma Mia sequel. So, some good family dynamics and heart dynamics and comedic aspects going on there, and romance. Next up is Christmas in Paradise. This apparently is a sequel to Father Christmas Returns, I think, and it has a lot of the same cast members there: Kelsey Grammer, Elizabeth Hurley, and his family, his daughters right there. He disappeared in their life for a long time, and now this one, apparently he finds out of a health condition, and then he decides to go to this Caribbean island and not tell anybody, and then his daughters are worried about him, and they go to find him and kind of turn his life upside down. And you also have Billy Ray Cyrus in here, who plays essentially himself, but his name is something like, I don't know, Billy Ray Love or something similar. And this one, again, had really nice shooting locations. It didn't really feel like a Christmas movie. Their last name is Christmas in here. So that played into that aspect, but it's supposed to take place around Christmas. There's a couple little Christmas scenes and some ornaments and stuff, decorations, but I think they hand out cookies at one point, but it didn't feel much like a Christmas movie in general. But there's beach bars, hanging out, music. He has a bunch of different songs in here, and I think he's actually a good singer. So, the achy breaky heart thing, they play that up. But there are a good another family dynamic there, but overall this movie is just about average, and you have to suspend disbelief with certain aspects too, certain elements that are a little bit ridiculous, and especially you got to stay tuned to the last scene, the last moment for this movie too is really so I feel like they might do another one for this one, and who knew, apparently this has a following, and I know the director's done some other Christmas movies, and I think another movie with Paradise in the title too. So he's gonna milk this, I feel like, and good for him if it does have Felipe Martinez is the director here, if it has an audience and fan following. But yeah, so they're doing yoga on the beach, this nice resort area. There's a little bit of romance aspect too. And yeah, they're trying to play up the family dynamic and the heart elements, and there's some heartfelt moments, but overall it's average at best. Temper your expectations for sure. But I do like the cast here: Kelsey Grammer, Elizabeth Hurley, Billy Ray Cyrus. I think it's interesting because Kelsey Grammer is Elizabeth Hurley's father in here, and I remember looking up the age, and I think they were 10 years age difference, something like that, something really similar. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. He must have had her when he was a little kid. Next up is The Minute You Wake Up Dead. This tried so hard to be a stylistic neo-noir film, and it just falls flat. It was absurd. I like the three leads right here: Cole Hauser, Jamie Alexander, and Morgan Freeman. They were all really good in their performances, but I feel like everybody else was not. Some of the acting was laughably bad, and it just felt goofy at times, and it's just so contrived and convoluted. You always have to suspend disbelief with movies, especially certain movies, but this one you can only do it so much. It's just, come on. So it's basically about this guy, stockbroker, who tells everybody to invest in something and it doesn't work out, so the whole town's terribly mad at him, and he's getting these threatening phone calls, and he gets mixed up in this insurance scam and murder, and everything's just jumbled mess, a chaotic mess. And Morgan Freeman's the sheriff. Cole Hauser, great in Yellowstone. I actually watched School Ties recently, which is one I remember really liking as a kid. And it has a really nice release from Imprint from Australia, which is a region-free Blu-ray. Great cast here. I mean, just incredible cast. If you haven't checked this one out, I would definitely recommend it. But Cole Hauser was in here. There's some of the cast members you can see right there in the front. But I forgot that he was in here, considering such a great cast. But he is awesome in Yellowstone. So great to see him in more things. I just wish this was a better movie. Jamie Alexander, I think, was really good too. She's in the Thor movies, Sif. But she was also in Rest Stop, which I remember liking the first one, the sequel not so much. But I thought she was great. She's probably my favorite in this whole movie. It doesn't hurt that she's very attractive. But yeah, it's just a jumbled mess. It's just so convoluted and ridiculous, and it tries to be, it thinks it's smarter than it is, and it's just not. It's just ridiculous. So this one is below average to me, and I couldn't recommend it. A nice release though from Lionsgate as far as the picture and audio quality. And this one right here, also another release from Lionsgate. And these ones don't have special features. You know, I don't know if there's too many people clamoring for the special features for that. I mean, for making of, I'd be interested in this one, just for seeing the shooting locations and stuff like that. And it also seems like it was a fun movie to make. And next up, and this one is from Paramount as well, and this is also a CBS release. It's Star Trek Prodigy. And I don't know if this was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, it was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, I haven't seen this one. It's an animated Star Trek, and it's the first time the crew on here isn't actually intended to be the crew. It's basically these 6 teenagers escape from their cruel past, and they find an abandoned Federation starship, and they don't know anything about the ship or anything like that. And they get this, like, I think like a training like hologram right there of Captain Janeway from Voyager. Let me know what your favorite Star Trek series is. I grew up with The Next Generation. I love the original series too, Deep Space Nine. And I did enjoy Voyager too. So it's cool to see Captain Janeway again from Voyager on here and teaching these kids and, you know, everything about the Federation and the history. And, you know, obviously it's going to have some, you know, good Starfleet aspect, but also teaching them some good life lessons. And I'm sure this is going to have a lot of heart. And the animation looks cool. The characters look cool. And this has some character cards here and 75 minutes of exclusive bonus features. So this looks like it's going to be a fun time, and I'm excited for it. And it's season 1, episodes of 1 through 10. I'll go ahead and show you the art cards. And then, you know, you have the interior artwork right there, which has the episode guide, which I definitely appreciate that. And again, the characters look really cool, so that's a big draw for sure. And I just feel like, though, we're getting a ton of Star Trek series and stuff. I've liked all the Star Trek series except for Picard. That's the only one I couldn't get into. I feel like I should give it another chance, though. I didn't watch the full first season. I watched like 3 episodes, and I was just like, ugh. It was rough for me to sit through, but glossy cards right here of the different characters. So that is awesome. Janeway. And, you know, this looks like a fun time, and I just love that they're creating new, interesting characters and different worlds. And I've always liked sci-fi, so horror is my favorite genre, then sci-fi is my second. And this is created by Kevin and Dan Hegeman, who are Emmy Award winners for Troll Hunters. So this looks like it's going to introduce some young fans right here to Star Trek, which I think is awesome. Next up, the lone DVD. This is Marineland Carnival with the Munsters TV show cast members and more lost treasures. And then down here at the bottom, it says, this product is not authorized by Universal City Studios, which I think is really funny down there, that disclaimer. This is from MPI Home Video. And I was a fan of the Munsters, and so this seemed like interesting to check out. And Marineland Carnival and More Lost Treasures with the Munsters TV show cast members includes an hour-long Marineland Carnival 1965 special starring the Munsters, and a 1966 full-color Munsters-themed episode with Fred Gwynn as Herman on the Danny Kaye Show, and additional rare skits and vintage talk show interviews with the Munsters TV stars, a new featurette, Munster Memories with Butch Patrick, hit music from New Christie Minstrels guest appearance by Eddie Adams, Joey Bishop, and more delights. I got to meet Butch Patrick at a horror convention. He was really nice. I got him to sign my Eddie Munster Funko Pop with Wolfie. This was just such a fun show growing up. Great horror, comedy, some good life lessons in here. This and the Addams Family, those are the two big, horror family TV shows. Let me know, were you more of a fan of the Addams Family or the Munsters? Which one did you prefer? But this looks like it's just going to be a fun time. So I'm definitely excited for that. And this aired, all these different ones in the 60s, these specials right here. So this is, for the first time, it was a long lost television appearance. So really cool. I didn't even open this up before here, but I love that artwork too. So really cool. And there you go. There's Wolfie. But I dig it. Can't wait to check this one out. I haven't seen this one before. Yeah, you've got different commercials and stuff. Red Skeleton Hour, Joey Bishop's show, a couple different Danny Kaye episodes, Danny Kaye show. So excited for this. Super awesome. So there you go. If you've seen any of these, definitely let me know what you think of them, and let me know which one of these is your favorite. Leave me those comments down below, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.